Hi guys, hi, hope everyone's keeping well. Rob back again for another finds video. Yeah, hope you're all having a good Easter. I'm recording this on Easter Sunday, but with the speed of my internet at the moment, I wouldn't be at all surprised if it will be sometime tomorrow afternoon by the time you get to see this video. So anyway, fingers crossed, hopefully it'll upload fairly quickly. So yeah, I'm going to just rattle through this fairly quickly. So there's about 10 records to show. Majority of these are from Ben's shop. Some are online, and I think one or two are secondhand. So okay, so let's get into it. So the first two are jazz titles. Well, the first three actually, but the first two are from a collection that Ben got in of sort of tone poets and audiophile pressings. New, I think majority of them are sealed. Some of I'd heard, some I haven't heard, one or two I already have. Yeah, when he sent me the list, he just sort of sent me a flip video. And it's always the way. I've got not an awful lot of time, particularly for the ones that I'm not familiar with, to kind of sort of stream them and decide whether I want to buy them or not, because a lot of these records, as a lot of you are aware, they're not cheap. They're sort of between 30 and 40 pounds a pop. So yeah, and I mean, it goes without saying that all of them were great for for one reason or another. None of them were bad. As I say, they're all classics, but just purely from a financial point of view, I decided that I'd only buy two, and pick the two that at the time, certainly when I listened to them, they were the ones that kind of hit the spot and floated my boat. So yeah, so what are they? Okay, well, the first one is this one. This is the remarkable Carmen Jones. So this is a tone poet release from Blue Note that's in a non-gatefold jacket, because a lot of these releases are, but it's still a nice tip-on style thick card stock pressing. On lovely heavyweight vinyl. And comes with just a bit of a write-up on the back by Thomas Conrad. So yeah, so this is Carmel Jones, the band leader on this, on trumpet. I can't really say an awful lot about this record because I haven't actually spun it in its entirety yet. But I just love the atmosphere of it. That's often the way with jazz titles, is that the thing that I find that that strikes me first, if the atmosphere's there, and I like that, and it creates an atmosphere, and it's intriguing, it's interesting. If I enjoy it, usually I can tell within about 5 or 10 minutes of listening to it whether I'm going to enjoy it or not. And this one, from the little that I played of it, I certainly did. So yeah, so you've got Carmel Jones trumpet, Harold Land on tenor, sax, I would imagine that refers to, Frank Strazzeri on piano, Gary Peacock on bass, and Leon Pettis on drums. So this was Pacific Jazz record, recorded in, I believe, 1961 session. Yeah, and just thoroughly enjoyable. There's 1, 2, 3, there's 6 titles on here. The opener, I'm going to go Fishing, which is the one I streamed. It's a Duke Ellington number. I just really thoroughly enjoyed that. yeah, there's a couple that Carmel Jones penned himself. Yeah, and it's just a great listen. Really happy to get that. And with a lot of these these special issues, you've got to get in, because they don't kind of tend to hang around. So so that was that one. Okay, the next one I know has been shown a couple of times. I think Dale Gatefold 33 showed this on his last video. This is an artist that I have listened to over the last couple of years on and off. Before then, I wasn't really familiar with her at all, but this one really hit the spot for me. This is Alice Coltrane, and this is Journey in Satchidananda. I think I pronounced that correctly. Featuring Pharoah Sanders on saxophone and percussion. So yeah, Alice Coltrane, obviously the wife of the late great John Coltrane. I think this was her 4th solo album, recorded in 1970 in New York in the studio. And it's a sort of heavily spiritual jazz kind of affair, very languid, transcendental almost, sort of with the harps, ouds, and the saxophone. Just long, lengthy pieces, just creates a lovely atmosphere, just kind of has a transportive kind of effect. It did with me anyway. So thoroughly enjoyed this one. I did listen to the album that she did just prior to this. I think it's Patat El Dode, is it pronounced? I'm not quite sure. It's got the kind of scarab beetle psychedelic cover. That one didn't quite hit the spot for me in the same way as this one did, but it may well be one that I'll return to at a later date. So yeah, but in the meantime, enjoying this one. So that's Alice Coltrane and Journey in Satchidananda. Okay, still in the kind of jazz, sort of jazz realm. Got into ECM records fairly recently. Got a couple of titles really enjoying by Ralph Towner, and Ben had this one in which intrigued me. I think I have seen this one before, but I asked him to spin it, and yeah, I really enjoyed this. This is Jan Garbarek and Works. So this is part of a series of 10 albums which were being released as part of ECM's 15th anniversary. This came out in 1984, so I guess the label started in 69. So there's 10 albums in the series by artists that apparently have been recording for the ECM label for the entire length of their existence. So yeah, this is great. Really like this one. So you've got Jan Garbarek on soprano saxophone, Ralph Towner, wonderful Ralph Towner playing 12-string acoustic, and it just creates an atmosphere all of its own, yeah, sort of mix of lengthy pieces with much shorter pieces. Again, just thoroughly enjoyable listen. That's the label there. And yeah, I'll be definitely looking to check out more of these labels as and when they become available to me. So yeah, that's Jan Garbarek and Works. Okay, completely different now. This was a cheapie I got from Ben. This is a Dave Edmunds album that I didn't have from the late 70s. This is Tracks on Wax from 1978 on Swan Song Records. And yeah, it's just kind of was exactly what I expected from Dave Edmunds. Really, no real surprises here. Mixture of covers, Chuck Berry numbers, rock pile numbers, and self-penned. Yeah, I think this was recorded at the time when they were all kind of playing on each other's records. And the rock pile band itself had kind of gone on the road. Not altogether too sure of the facts here. I'm sure somebody like Richard McCook will put me right if I say anything that's not correct. So, but yeah, so you've got, I think the rock pile band, you got Dave Edmunds guitar, piano, vocal, Billy Bremner guitar, Nick Lowe on bass, Terry Williams drums. Yeah, and it's just very upbeat, just a really great sort of get up and boogie rocking album. He's in great voice, and yeah, not a lot else I can say about it really, but yeah, a solid listen. So that's Dave Edmunds and Tracks on Wax. Okay, this next one, I really can't believe that I ignored this album for so long, and yeah, shame on me, really. So yeah, just looking, just playing Kinks albums a couple of weeks ago, and just realised that sort of after Lola and Power Man, I completely missed out this album and streamed it and just had to order a copy because it was fantastic. So this is Percy. So this is 1971. It's a 50th anniversary release of the film soundtrack from 1971, starring Howell Bennett. Apparently, I've never seen the movie, so don't know anything about it. But yeah, what a great listen this was. There's quite a lot of kind of 70s Kinks that I don't particularly enjoy, or their albums become quite patchy. But this was just, for me, a real return to form of just that solid English, thoroughly English kind of style of writing, just very observational, clever, slightly witty, yeah, great melodies, just all the ingredients that we've come to love from Ray Davies' songwriting at its best. And yeah, this is straight away went very high up in my Kinks ranking in terms of, you know, their best albums, certainly from the material that I've listened to anyway. So great. Yeah, I mean, I think the only track that I really could have probably done without was the second track, Lola, which is like a kind of funky sort of boogie up kind of instrumental version of the song. It's never been a great favorite of mine anyway. But apart from that, really, really great, solid listen. So, yep. I think this comes on. Does it come on a coloured vinyl? No, it's just ordinary black. Reproduced on the Pi label. So this must have been just before they signed with RCA, changed labels and signed with RCA. Lovely reproduction of the kind of textured sleeve as well, which is just a nice touch. And sounds fantastic. So yeah, if you haven't got this, it's really cheap on Amazon. I think it was about 15 quid, something like that. Do yourselves a favour and snag a copy. It's a wonderful, wonderful listen. Okay, sticking with reissues. This is an album that I had heard, but not for a long time. And I was always looking out for a secondhand copy of this, but they've just become really, really scarce and I'll never see them. So I saw this on Amazon and decided to pick it up. So this is, I think it's the 40th anniversary of the Associates' 1982 second album, Sulk. So lovely, lovely album this is. It's on this kind of azure kind of blue to match the sleeve. It sounds excellent. I'm always a little bit of trepidation with modern vinyl repressings. I've waxed on about this loads and loads of times. No pun intended, by the way. But yeah, this is just great. So you've got obviously Billy Mackenzie, fantastic singer, who's sadly no longer with us. Scottish band, and yeah, this is just fabulous alternative synth pop album that's really in a league of its own. The first and the last track, the two instrumentals, are real highlights for me. Arrogance, Gave Him Up, and Nothing in Something Particular. Really, really fabulous. But there really isn't a bad moment. The two singles, Club Country, and particularly the wonderful Party Fears 2, which I think is probably my top 5 singles of the 80s. Just a wonderful song. I always remember my brother having a 45 of that and just blasting it out, just with that lovely dramatic vocal of Billy's, and with the wonderful sort of almost classical sounding keyboard motif, which just, yeah, is just amazing song. So yeah, really, really glad to get that. That's the Associates and Sulk. Okay, last two are sort of linked. This is one that I picked up yesterday from Ben's. Hadn't seen this. I don't see this guy's albums very often. I think because they're either on his own label or they're on different labels. He sort of label jumps a bit. This is the wacky and wonderful Ron Geeson. So yeah, for those who maybe aren't familiar with Ron, he was a collaborator and arranger that has worked with quite a few artists, most notably Pink Floyd. He co-wrote the Atom Art Mother Suite and helped arrange it, and also worked with Roger Waters, like Music from the Body, etc. And he has a very, very eccentric kind of style. Uses a lot of kind of comedic moments, a lot of sound effects, just quite odd. It's one of these he's one of these artists that you've sort of got to be in the mood for, but when you want something just a bit quirky and a little bit different, he hits the spot. Well, he does for me anyway. So this has some interesting musical moments on it as well. So this is from 1977, so kind of a later one of his. So don't see his albums very often. That's the label there. And yeah, just nice to pick up. As I say, it's probably only about the second or third time I've seen it in the wild. But yeah, it was a good price and I decided to pick it up. So that's Right Through from Ron Geeson. Okay, and sticking with the Pink Floyd theme, I was sort of umming and ahhing about this. I certainly wasn't going to get the boxed set, but I was very happy to pick this up at a good price. So this is Dark Side of the Moon. live at Wembley. Recorded 1974. A lovely textured kind of moleskin kind of sleeve, same as the reissues of Dark Side of the Moon, the studio version. And yeah, just nice to get because it sounds different from the studio version. It's very, very well recorded. Just on the one disc, and it's just on regular black vinyl. But comes with a couple of nice posters, which I'm not going to get out. But yeah, I mean, well worth picking up at the right for the right money. I mean, I think it was about 20 quid. So very very happy to get that. I think my only gripe with this is that it would have been nice, perhaps as a double album, and if they'd have just sort of included the entire concert rather than just the Dark Side of the Moon. But then they probably wouldn't have been able to put the feature the Prism logo, because it wouldn't just have been about you know, for catering for that record. So, but yeah, pleased to get that. So yeah, that's it, guys. Yeah, so hope you're all having a great Easter. Not stuffing yourselves with too much chocolate. And yeah, I'll look forward to hopefully uploading some more content soon. I'm going to a record fair tomorrow with Ben, which is in Stratford at the Leisure Centre. So any of the kind of local Birmingham contingency, if you're thinking of going there, it'd be great to meet up, maybe say hello. But if not, no worries. And yeah, so obviously I will be in due course showing my finds from there. So yeah, all the best, guys, and enjoy the bank holiday, and I'll speak to you soon. Cheers, all the best. Bye-bye.